Next story. Let's reflect back on the wonderful January 6th and everything that had to go on there. Okay. So there's some people that think that January 6th was, as they say, a nothing burger. Really, nothing going on there, nothing to see. To some people, and we'll see in a minute, it's one of the worst days that has ever existed. This article right here from the AP says Biden warns of U.S. peril from Trump's dagger on democracy. And this article, he goes on to blame Trump of trying to overthrow the democracy, condemning the protester, calling them rioters, calling them un-American. And as we're going to see here, January 6th was compared to Pearl Harbor and the tragedy of September 11th.
Certain dates echo throughout history, including dates that instantly remind all who have lived through them where they were and what they were doing when our democracy came under assault. December 7th, 1941, September 11th, 2001, and January 6th, 2021.
I can't stand that woman. So Vice President Harris, who calls January 6th is equally evil and as unforgettable as Pearl Harbor and September 11th. It's so unforgettable that they have to keep reminding you about it. Look, we're going to look at an article here in just a few minutes about how they may have been overplaying a few things about that. But before we do, she is condemning these people, again, as vice president. And I condemn anyone who went there with the sole intention to harm someone, to overthrow the government. I don't think these were things that were going through most people's heads. This was a protest. Some may even say a riot, and I would agree with that. Right? But I wouldn't say it was a violent one. I wouldn't say it was murderous or deadly, although one person died. Now, unfortunately, and that was someone shot by Capitol Police. Okay? One death. Now, we can compare that with the Summer of Love, where Black Lives Matter, Antifa, whoever it is burning down entire communities because of the death of fill in the blank, whatever the reason. Right? And I 100% support protesting. Okay? 100% support anybody for any reason protesting. Even, I don't say even riots, but sometimes you got to get ugly, and I get that. But to say that January 6th was that bad, and then to read articles like this, and to hear stories about what she and others have done with those that were rioting and destroying property, and with the Summer of Love, there were significantly more deaths from the protests, riots, what have you, than there were that they were even protesting. If someone was shot and killed by a cop, one person, right? As tragic as that may have been, as unjustified as it may have been, or even justified, multiple people died through multiple riots. And so it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense why that is the preferred route to go. But Vice President Kamala Harris, it says, this is from Snopes, which I believe is a fairly left-leaning fact-checking site itself. Did Kamala Harris bail out violent rioters during George Floyd protests? So we did hear about celebrities and tweets about celebrities and politicians bailing these folks out. Vice President Harris and others in the administration are condemning Republicans for trying to do the same for people that are in jail right now, still from January 6th of last year, on the count of trespassing. No one that I know of at this point has been charged for insurrection, only trespassing. And they've still been in jail for a year now, over a year now at this point. So she's condemning them and giving them a hard time. But let's read this. So Snopes does say that it's mostly false. So what I was saying earlier, this is not a definitively false statement, but it's mostly false. What does it say? Harris expressed support for a nonprofit called the Minnesota Freedom Fund, which pays criminal bail and immigration bonds and encouraged her supporters to donate to it during the protest over Floyd's death in the summer of 2020. What's false? However, Harris did not donate money to the nonprofit before, after, or during the protest, according to its records. Additionally, no evidence shows people who received bail or bond assistance from MFF for arrest during the demonstrations committed more crimes after their initial detainment, which isn't really relevant to this conversation. Did she support these people? Did she give money? Well, it says not directly, but she supported an organization that did. There are tons of tweets out there from politicians, from celebrities that were supporting them. But then, as of January 6th, 2021, that is the worst thing to happen in America since September 11th, apparently. And those people are worse than the people that were burning down cities. Those people are anti-American. Those people are trying to overthrow democracy. It was one of the most peaceful protests in the last 3, 4, 5 years that I've seen. Now, some of it was ugly. I'm not going to lie. Some of it, there was pushing and shoving. And like I said, there was one death. But we're going to see in a little bit that it may have been a little over-exaggerated. All right, so one of the things that the media continues to push out there, and not just the media, but Congress, the oversight committees, or whatever's going on, January 6th committee, I think, is an actual name of a group now. But they just keep pushing, and they've done this forever now. They continue to push portions of speeches given. They keep quoting Trump for saying, fight like hell, right? He kept saying, fight like hell. He incited the riots. He incited the violence. He incited the takeover of democracy, whatever that may be. Okay, it's not like capture the flag. If you get in and you get the flag, you become the new president or something like that. It's not how it works. Okay, and they know it's not how it works. It's all ridiculous. It's all a show. Okay, but they got to keep pushing that out there, and they got to keep pushing the coronavirus out there, so you keep being submissive to them and everything that's going on, and you vote for the right people come midterms and come 2024. But we'll get into the midterms in just a little bit. Let's take a look at the pot calling the kettle black. All right, so here's a tweet from Representative Jamie Raskin. The GOP rush to replace Justice Ginsburg is all about destroying the Affordable Care Act, women's health care, and reproductive freedom, and the voting rights and civil rights of the people. We must fight like hell to stop this assault on health care and the Constitution. A tweet from Ted Lieu. I like that, but I like better, quote, when they go low, we fight back. Another one from Jamie Raskin. Constitutional patriots of all parties must demand immediate investigations into hashtag Trump Russia. This is our democracy. Fight for it. A tweet from Joe, I don't know how to say this last name, Najusi. Honored to have the support of Senator Kamala Harris. Truly humbled to have the support of such a fearless leader as we fight to take back Congress and to make Colorado history. Last but not least, a tweet from Joe Biden. That's why I've spent my whole career fighting, and I will continue to fight like hell so that no one ever has to make that walk again. So if the phrase fight like hell is subject to be considered inciting violence or an insurrection, what about those guys? When are they going to be on trial? Okay. When are they, even though maybe no and violence broke out or protest? I mean, I know they'll say that, but you cannot then tie the phrase fight like hell to anything that incites violence, especially when you leave this part out of Trump's speech from the same day, the same speech.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
All right, let me play that again. For those of you that may not have heard that before, yeah, that was in the same speech. I know mainstream media isn't playing that part of it, but let's check it out again.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Peacefully and patriotically is what he said. Okay, if we're going to say that he said fight like hell, that's fine. But you also have to submit that he said peacefully and patriotically. Okay? If fight like hell was inciting the violence and stirring them up, peacefully and patriotically calms them down, right? You can't have one without the other. It's in the same speech. That's just like all those times that they say he never condemned white supremacists, or that, what was it? There were good people on both sides. Did he say that? Yes. What did he say directly after that? I'm not talking about the white supremacists or the skinheads or the Nazis or whatever it is. He called them out and says, I'm not talking about them, but they don't play that part in the news because they don't want you to know that. Let's look at some more manipulation. All right, so we're back over at CNN now. Surprise, surprise. How a pro-Trump mob besieged the Capitol. Okay? And it gives a timeline of the events and everything that happened. Here's a few things I found very interesting. All right. Again, there were parts that were either violent, you could call it, or extreme or whatever. But there's also some questions about who was inciting it. And if, again, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I'll try to steer clear of it. But if there were FBI or CIA people involved to get it kicked off. Okay. So here's one of the things. All right. Pro-Trump rioters storm the Capitol. Check this out.
I've never been in this house. How about you? No, you own it. That's right. We own it. We own you.
Didn't look like a whole lot of storming to me. Loud, obnoxious, vulgar. But they were walking inside the stanchion still, like they were on a freaking tour. How is that the worst, a worst attack on democracy ever? But that's how they keep portraying it. Okay, what else we got to look at here? Boom. Pause. Okay, so Fox News tops ratings for coverage on January 6th anniversary events. You know why? Same reason that Gutfeld is the king of late night right now. Because people are tired of being not just fed, but force-fed. These same talking points, the same agenda, the same ideas from everywhere. Late night shows, every 24-hour news media, anywhere. Okay, it is being shoved down everyone's throat and people are tired of it. You know why Fox News topped the ratings? Because they had more interesting things to talk about, quite honestly. And it says right here, we're going to say, throughout the day, Fox News averaged 1.6 million viewers as cable news highlighted the one-year anniversary of supporters of former President Trump storming the Capitol in an attempt to stop certification President Biden's electoral win, according to the Nielsen media search. Fox News was top-rated cable news network during coverage of Biden's and Vice President Harris's speeches commemorating January 6th with 1.6 million viewers. It goes down to talk about guests on the show, and those shows or clips of shows or segments getting up to 2.5 million viewers, 1.5 million viewers, just demolishing their competition. Again, because I think they're speaking differently than everyone else, and everyone's tired of it. All right. So basically, that AP article stated that it was a deadly assault on the U.S. Capitol, which we know it wasn't. There's one killed by a Capitol police officer. It wasn't a deadly assault. Okay. Here's another one. Around 2/3 of Americans describe the day as very or extremely violent. It wasn't. Videos and pictures tell a different story. Believe what you see, not what you're told. Okay. You are being fed a narrative. Conspiracy theorists decide. We'll talk about this toward the end of the show. I have another segment coming up. We're going to talk about that. Okay. But you are being fed partial truths, lies, misinformation, fake news, whatever you want to call it, because there is a narrative to be pushed. They want you to feel a certain way, think a certain way, act a certain way. They want to control you by controlling the information. It's up to you on whether you're going to let them or not.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.